the new earth until you get rid of all the old karma, because that's what ties you to the wheel of karma and to the earth. You have to keep coming back to repay it. You can't move on as long as you're stuck having to repay it. So what we're told people, you've got to let it go. And I tell my clients this all the time. This is usually the cause of their illness. It's the cause of all their problems. Holding on to all the garbage and the junk and the baggage that we carry around with us.
Poisons us on every level.
That's what I say. It gets to the point that it doesn't matter if you were abused as a child. You got to let it go. Doesn't matter if your husband beat you up. You got to let it go. And people, you have to forgive. You have to release it, or you're not going to go. And I have clients that say, I can't forgive them. You don't know what they did to me. But as long as they think like that, they are holding on to karma. You're going to have to come back and do it again with the same people, same circumstances, only worse next time.
Right.
And they usually say, I don't want to do that. And then I said, you better get rid of it now. And it's not easy, because we do carry all this baggage around with us, and you have to let it go. And you'll feel such a wonderful relief when you do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I tell people what you have to do, even if the person you're angry at and have all of these bad feelings, even if they have already left the earth, if they've died, you can still release this karma. You don't have to go to the person and face them face to face. That's very hard to do. You can do it mentally. And when you come into this earth, you make contracts with all of these people that you're going to try to work these things out. We get here, it's not that easy, and it doesn't always happen. We get stuck in the same rut again. So I tell them, when you're going to do this, picture yourself tearing up the contract with that person. Tell them, we tried. You do this mentally. We tried, we really tried, it didn't work. Let's tear up the contract, and you see yourself tearing it up and throwing it away. And you say, I forgive you, I release you, I let you go. You go your way, I'll go mine. We don't have to be connected anymore at all. And you've got to mean it. You've got to believe it. And
Very
when
important.
you do, they have no more hold over you. They may try. They might try to push your buttons because they know what buttons to push. But if you really sincerely release them and let them go, you won't have any more problems. They'll try and it won't work because you have changed.
And it seems to me the big part of this is until people can begin to understand that we are the captain of our souls, and take personal responsibility for having chosen such a role to subject oneself to such situations that we have to, in essence, for us to respond to. We have a choice as to how we respond, whether we're going to be angry or whether we're going to forgive. We have to take responsibility. Something in our past, that hidden hand of karma, has created the very situation that we're in.
That's the second thing you have to do, is forgive yourself.
Yes.
Which is also very hard because it always takes two people.
Right.
And you've had a part in creating the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to also forgive yourself, and you've got to really mean it. And when you do, your whole life will change. Mm-hmm. And this is the first thing you have to do if you're going to go with everyone else to the new earth. Mm-hmm. The second thing, you have to let go of fear. Fear is a very paralyzing emotion. If you don't understand something, you're afraid of it. And as long as you have fear, you're held to the old earth, because that's where the fear comes from. That's why I tell people, don't buy into the things that you see on television. Don't buy into what you have in the newspapers. Think for yourself. It's all to generate fear. The church is just as bad.
Absolutely.
Generate fear. The government is to generate fear. As long as they can generate fear, they will keep you suppressed. So you don't buy into it. Think for yourself. If you hear something that doesn't make a lot of sense, ask a lot of questions. I always think, well, why are they saying this? Why are they trying to spread this notion? It's there for a reason. What are they trying to do? You start asking questions and then make up your own mind. Then you develop your own truth. It may not be what I believe or what anyone else believes, but it is your truth.
Yes.
Don't give your power away to anyone. You have to release all of this fear, then you won't be tied to the new earth. So those two things you have to do if you're going to progress and go with the new earth, which is going to be glorious and wonderful. Let go of karma and let go of fear.
And so the fear-producing mechanisms on this planet, the beings and the information you've gotten, are simply a manifestation of the collective consciousness of this planet?
Well,
or is
there are beings that do it on purpose.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Yes.
Well, you know, the church, if you want to consider
Yes.
that a being, is doing its thing, and the government is doing its thing in order to maintain control. But we have power of our own that we don't realize. Are we going to buy into it? Are we going to go with it? And then it just creates more and more fear.
Exactly. So, I mean, I agree with you.
You're going to have two worlds. Which world are you going to live in?
You get to choose.
I try to tell people it is your choice. If you want to stay with that world that has all of that junk happening, people say, oh, what about the economics? What about all these horrible things that are happening to the world, all the catastrophes? Is that the world you want to live in? Then you can have it. Or do you want to live in the positive world? They are both real. You hear about them on TV all the time. But is that your world? Is that where your focus is going to be? Or are you going to focus on this other world?
Yes, and in
You have
reality,
a choice.
the planet's already divided that way. In reality, people who are living a very, very heavy, difficult, karma-ridden life and not able to find their way out, suffering from depression, violence, and so forth, have no awareness of people that might be living in exactly the opposite experience and spectrum. Already, people are unaware of each other's realities. This just makes it, what you're saying makes it official. The two worlds are torn apart. And so it's very important that people understand this information and start, number one, this is the planet of choice, free will. This is an amazing, it's an amazing experiment. So let's talk a little bit about some of the glimpses you've been shown of the new Earth before we wrap it up, because I know you have a lecture in a little bit and you've had almost no sleep. So just give us a little tease of what the new Earth is about, and then we'll encourage everyone to pick up some of your books and attend your lectures.
Because this is what I'm going to talk about tonight in the lecture. Well, they can't tell us exactly because no one knows, but it will be where your focus is. But we're going to take the technology and we're going to do wonderful things with it. And we're going to be going into a world where there won't be any illness and we can live as long as we want. At first, when you go, you will take your physical body with you. And then after you've been there a while, you will turn into beings of light. So it's going to be a wonderful, beautiful place. There's colors, there's things there you can't even imagine. But it won't happen instantly. We're in the middle of it right now. People say, when is it going to happen? It is happening now, but it's a gradual process. And you won't just wake up one morning on 2012 and say, wow, everything is different. It's very subtle.
Yes.
You begin to notice little changes and little things that are different.
Yeah.
And then you'll be there.
So it's as long as we make a wise choice and are willing to back it up with some wise action, it's all going to be good.
This is a very important time to be alive. Many exciting things are happening.